A wonderful day. Welcome once again to the program Sports Preview. Program proudly sponsored by MaxBet. Yes, MaxBet are the proud sponsors of this one. Our friends at MaxBet. Let's get into some of the big issues that are all around the very beautiful world of football, with much emphasis on the English Premier League games coming through on Saturday and, of course, on Sunday. We saw the UEFA Champions League games for Tuesday and Wednesday, with lots and lots of goals coming in. The English teams are showing their dominance in all of the games that they were involved. My name is Oji Ofedobolo. Welcome. Today I am flanked by the wonderful analysts who are joining up. We're talking about Bonfrey Joe and, of course, CI0 Aiden with very superb analysis. Let's get into it. Yes, I told you that to get on it, I'll be working with CI0 and the man Bonfrey Joe. Good to have you guys on the program. Without wasting much time, we know where it is. Chelsea takes on Sunderland, and it will be Newcastle United up against Fulham. Interesting fixture between Manchester United and Brighton. I don't know if I can say a resurgent Manchester United. Brentford takes on Liverpool in an interesting encounter, but we are also expecting games to extend up until Sunday, where it will be very, very strong to see Arsenal take on Crystal Palace in the London derby. Aston Villa takes on Manchester City at the Villa Park. It will be AFC Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium, who takes on troubled Nottingham Forest. In fact, Forest, they've sacked Ange Postecoglou, and they are getting Sean Dyche, who will be coming to get things to work, the former Burnley coach. Let's also look at Wolves, who takes on Burnley, and Everton and Tottenham Hotspur is the last but not the least in all the fixtures coming through on Sunday. We won't waste much time. Let's just get into some of these fixtures. We'll have to start with Chelsea as they go head-to-head with Sunderland. We understand with Jimmy Gittins winning the man of the match for Chelsea in their game against Ajax, rampant performance. The likes of Esteval getting his first goal in the Champions League from the penalty spot, and all that transpired is showing a very, very strong Chelsea side in a team that a lot of persons will want to say the team B of the side, with Jorgensen as the goalkeeper and a lot more. But Sunderland, they've been on top form this season. You can't take that away from what the Black Cats have been able to achieve. I mean, look at their fixtures, their last matches that they've played, getting a draw against Crystal Palace, another draw at home. That was against Aston Villa, winning Nottingham Forest and losing to Manchester United 2-0, and beating Wolves 2-0 the last time out. What are we expecting when they go head to head with the London Blues?
So for me, I think the Sunderland team haven't played as I'm playing Chelsea, at Old Trafford, that's the bridge, at Stamford Bridge. They've always found it hard winning a match. In their last three at Stamford Bridge, they've not been able to get a win against Chelsea. So for them now, with a Sunderland team that came from relegation to the back to the Premier League with a strong form, you understand? They've come with a strong form. You can't take that away from them. But Chelsea on the other side are in another part of the world. After their 5-1 win against Ajax in the Champions League, you can't take anything away from them by giving. You just have to give it to them, because the young team is really giving up to they are believing what you expect from them.
Yeah, very well. You can say they are living up to expectations. Especially with Chelsea last loss coming on the 27th. That was of August 2025. That was in that game against Brighton where they lost 3-1. And ever since then, they've come to with a 1-0 win over Benfica in the Champions League, beating Liverpool 2-1. And then a 3-0 win over Nottingham Forest, and Ajax 5-1, scoring very much a part of this Chelsea team. What are we to expect when Chelsea takes on Sunderland?
Let me start from your introduction when you talked about Esteval's penalty kick, which equally contributed to Chelsea's victory over the Champions League. I think you skipped the part where the three lads made history. One of the first youngest player to score all the Champions League is Maguire. 19 years, And then here came Esteval at 18 years with his breaking history barely 20 minutes after Maguire. And then here came George breaking another record, being another 19-year-old after some minutes again, just to place Chelsea at that particular top flight. Now, let's get to Sunderland. I like to say that just to remind some London brothers here that Chelsea can do some certain things they couldn't do. But then let's get to Sunderland. Just like I said, Sunderland has been doing well with about 2 draws and about 2 wins and 1 loss. I think being on the 7th position for Sunderland at this point is not of a bad start. Being at that particular place where if it was towards the end of the season, we should be contemplating with them going for a European competition. Now, Chelsea, on the other hand, has equally had records of meeting Sunderland, and each of those records has had Chelsea on the top of those ones, where Chelsea has won either 5-0, 3-0, I think 7-2 to cap some of those things. And then I think Sunderland has only come out either once or twice to be able to beat Chelsea in such fixtures. So seeing where Chelsea is at this point with about 4 draws and just 1 loss, and that loss came against Brighton, is a walkover for Chelsea. Let's put it this way.
Okay,
because Chelsea is in form. Both the first and the second team, just like you said, is in form, and then Chelsea at this point is guaranteed at least nothing less than a straight win at this particular point. That is if we do not receive our regular red card.
Let's see one thing about
my London brother must.
Yes,
I know. Don't worry.
Calm down. I understand what you're saying. Chelsea, yes, they are good. Sunderland on the other side, you can't just write them off.
I'm not saying I'm writing them off.
The last time Chelsea, as in Sunderland, won Chelsea was in 2016.
Yes, 2016. And that was 3-2. That was just an escape route. Now check 2016 right now. Where Chelsea has actually given Sunderland things like 7-2, things like 5-0.
Sunderland also won Chelsea 3-0. So there was a time Chelsea could not.
How long was that? You just said the last time.
Well, at Stamford Bridge, they lost.
How long was that?
We should understand something about football. Football, you may be good today. Tomorrow you may not be there. Okay. Look at what is happening.
I hope you can relate this when we're talking about Arsenal.
When we are talking to, I can tell you anything. When I started, I said that Chelsea is in another war presently now. With kind of winning they are getting, I tell you.
Okay,
but Chelsea lacks. I'm very sorry, but Chelsea lacks between me and you lacks discipline. I've watched the match over and over again. The matches over and over again. I think the coach has his own way and pattern that does not. I've said it from the get-go that it does not work for me all the time. But then he has his escape into it. But Chelsea lacks discipline. Chelsea would have gotten red card with Tosin yesterday, if not because he removed Tosin at some point after the first half. You understand? Chelsea still has a lot of youthful exuberance dealing with most of the players that needs to be curtailed. I think somebody needs to really talk to the coach as regards how to be able to go around those things. Just my own point of view when it has to do with Chelsea, moving forward, because this everyday red card, which equally affects the coach too at some point, is very terrible.
Yeah, we all know teams need to be as disciplined as they can be. It's very much part of the game. Newcastle United takes on Fulham as they collide at the St. James's Park on Saturday, with both sides separated by just a point in the Premier League table. I think with Newcastle and Fulham separated by just 1 point, it's important to look at what you feel will be the outcome of this one. Just let's get to Washington.
Yeah, Newcastle Fulham they have this history together. After playing so as in 37 games, in that 37 games, Newcastle since 2004 till now 37 games. Newcastle have won 16, Fulham 16. You see the tie there, and their history has been. As in, you get today, I get you today, tomorrow you get me today, tomorrow. That's the way their history has been. The last time, last season was Newcastle won at home. Fulham won home and away in their last season. Home and away, Fulham got a win home and away against Newcastle. So, but presently now, the Newcastle that I'm seeing in the Champions League match, you saw the way it ended for them. They played momentarily well in the Champions League, and that is what I expect again in this future against Fulham. they will come out all full to get something out of this Fulham team. But Fulham on the other side is not a team you can just walk up and pass like that. They've also had histories. They lost to Arsenal. They lost to Arsenal in the weekend 1-0. You know how it ended in that match. Their defense was quite strong for Arsenal to just get a goal against Newcastle, against Fulham. That's the thing that you can't just go through their defense like that this season. So I think it's a match that I expect either a draw in that match from the two teams. Either a draw or nothing else. You understand? It's either the draw or the home side takes it.
Okay, very well. CI.
Okay, so personally, Newcastle had a very, very crooked start of the season. 1 point, above Fulham is not so fantastic at 16 and 17 position. But Newcastle, funnily, has, in my own term, a comfortable lead, not too comfortable, but a certain comfortable lead, or at the European level, where they just won their last Champions League game by 3-0. And then, I think they've had 3 wins and 2 losses altogether, moving forward in all to all now, both Champions League and the Premier League. And I think that particular losses came basically during the Premier League fixtures. Now, my point exactly is, Newcastle could, with that particular sensation of victory from the just concluded Champions League match, come into this match and create a difference. But it's still under probability because, just like he said, the Fulham team is not such a team you would want to look away from or just walk over, because the Fulham team, having the likes of Iwobi at the center and then having a lot of other pivotal players playing endlessly, I think Fulham still has that particular ego to be able to move forward. And moving forward, I think Fulham has only kept 1 clean sheet in their last 17 Premier League games, which is not too, but then 11 of Fulham's 14 away games saw both teams score. So while they are being very, playing in a must-win pattern. Now talking about Newcastle, they should be very, very watchful of their defense. But any porous apart from that particular side, Fulham will definitely take advantage of that. And I think it's going to end in a match where both teams will actually score. It's going to, for me, end in a draw game.
Okay, and then in a draw game, maybe that takes us to United, who takes on Brighton. Manchester United, they are hoping that they can back up their biggest result on the Ruben Amorim to face a stern test, when the host Brighton side, who've dominated this fixture in recent seasons. In fact, it's looking like Brighton are the top teams when you talk about Brighton playing against Manchester United. It's giving off like they are, the strong team of these 2 fixtures in recent times. What are we to expect?
Yeah, just like you said, the strong team in this current fixture, Brighton, after 5-6 in their last 6 against Manchester United, they've managed to win 5 good times and got 1 draw and lost 1 to Manchester United. It's a plus for them, for Brighton side. Last season was home and away. Manchester United connected home and away from them. So I don't expect anything. But one thing about United now, United are trying to, the Amorim team, they are trying to build back to the momentum where United, the glory of United.
Getting that back
glory,
for the first time in was appointed.
Yes, that's getting a win after losing. So, and winning against a team, Liverpool, was a plus.
Even as we feel like Liverpool, I told you as we were talking about it that rivalry games comes with a different flavor.
Yes.
I think that's what Manchester United
Yes. Oh,
they might struggle in other games, but when it comes to that game against bitter rivals, they did it. And I feel like it was a bitter pill for Liverpool to swallow, and that's why they got the result that they did get against Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League.
So I see a different ball game in this match because Brighton side would not want to give in to anything. So let's just see what this game and see how it goes. Maybe it ends on a goal for the two teams because both teams will score.
Just like you said, their last 3 visits, Brighton has seen Brighton win 3 of them straight up. And then talking about winning them, 6 of their last 7 Premier League head-to-heads with Manchester United has only seen them win on either of the venues, whether home or away, and that is supremacy. And then Brighton, to think about Brighton has been very domineering, and then these both teams are 9 and 10. A bit different, not too different between them. And then I think Brighton at this particular junction has proven that they are a team to reckon with. They beat all the in quote super teams so far this season, Chelsea inclusive. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Manchester City at some point, and then if care is not taken, Manchester United might join the queue. So I think Manchester United to be very, very careful with their defense, because any lackadaisical attitude from Manchester United sees Brighton crossover, and then once they start scoring, and they've gone to defense, and then no way against it. But Manchester United, on the other hand, so far in their own features lately, they've shown that once they are the first team to score, the opening match scoring, they tend to eventually win that game. So it's a situation of leaving the fingers crossed. Brighton is not the small team to reckon with at this point. And that's little wonder Chelsea always goes to their club to be able to buy a lot of players that has equally played vital roles for Chelsea. So I think it's going to be a very tough match and very interesting for them.
Interesting and tough the match is looking. Let's just go straight to look at the Reds. They'll be away to Brentford. I feel like it's going to be one of the most interesting games to watch this weekend. Liverpool up against Brentford away from home. Let's talk about that and round off with the game between City and Aston Villa. But first, Liverpool are playing away from home against Brentford.
I think Liverpool playing Brentford at home, it has been a game that Liverpool has always been fond of. When you say fond of, in their last 5, Liverpool have won them, both home and away.
Well, Liverpool is looking like they're struggling. We
struggling
in the last 5.
Yes, struggling, yes, you say.
4 losses.
Straight, yes.
Losing to Crystal Palace 2-1. They were beaten by Galatasaray. The game where Osimhen got the man of the match. Chelsea 2-1. And then they lost to Manchester United 2-1. And now they got that 5-1 win over Eintracht Frankfurt. Maybe it's just
it's a wake-up call.
Hope, but it's looking like Brentford will worry.
Yeah, Brentford, we want to capitalize on those downside of Liverpool. You understand? That the downcast of Liverpool. But when it comes to Liverpool, Brentford, let's take it or leave it. Liverpool has an upper hand in that match. After 5 straight games, their last 5, Liverpool has managed to win all the 5, and with 2 goals plus.
And of course, keeping clean sheet in 4 out of the 5.
Yes.
That's amazing to see.
So it's a plus for Liverpool. I think I give it to Liverpool as well.
So it's another 3 and 4 situation in terms of their standings in the league charts, and away from their standings, just like you said, Liverpool has always dominated. But is it me, or is there anybody who thinks Isak shouldn't start that match too? Because we saw what Ekitike did starting that match against Frankfurt. I think at this point, Ekitike has blended well with the Liverpool team than Isak has.
Yeah, I agree. And I think reason is not like Isak is not good because he didn't play the preseason with the team. And while the team were in preseason, he was very busy talking to his agents about getting him a move away from Newcastle. Training alone is different from training with the team. So I feel like he will need a lot more time. And I feel too, he's been given those playing chances to boost his confidence because he's the record British transfer holder. I feel like you're right. They need to think about the team more than think about the player this time. If Ekitike brings the results, he should go ahead and start, and maybe Isak coming in later on in the game to do the magic. I think I agree too.
Okay, so that's where Liverpool. That's where I see Liverpool making more efforts in terms of converting what their efforts is into victory when it has to do with this particular match. Because not because Isak might not score, but then they will struggle. And I feel everybody is concentrated on trying to give him the ball to be able to deliver. At the end of the day, he really doesn't do much of those things. But away from that, Sunderland is equally to be in this position where they are right now. Brentford, I beg your pardon, is to be in this position has equally proven to be a very resilient team. So we're looking forward to a Brentford that will hold Liverpool down on the defense package. Liverpool has lost 4 straight, just like you said, and just won Frankfurt. And Frankfurt even scored before they did. You understand? So which means somehow, Liverpool equally has a porous, a defense, and then they need to work on that from their midfield down to their defense. I haven't watched what they played at the Champions League. They had the domineering part of it because Frankfurt wasn't even doing well at some point. So let's just say if they get to be unfortunate, it might be a very sad story to write home about for Liverpool.
Okay, to conclude all of that on the Bua Community Voice, the program Sports Preview, I told you that is proudly sponsored by our friends at MaxBet. Yes, MaxBet are the proud sponsors. Aston Villa, the Villa Park, host Manchester United. In fact, the fixture that been with mixed feelings. We saw City beat Aston Villa 3-1 once upon a time, with Villa getting a 1-0 win in 2023. And Aston Villa were trashed 4-1 by City before Aston Villa got a 2-1 win over Man City. That was 2024. But in their last outing, it was City who got a 2-1 win. And if you look at this Villa side, their last 5, they've taken all the wins in the last 5. They didn't start well this season, if you can remember. They were beaten by Brentford. They were beaten by Palace. They drew with Everton. They lost to Aston Villa in the EFL Cup. Then, before we can talk about that 1-1 draw, in that one with Sunderland, what are we expecting when these two go head to head?
I think the Villa side, and it's quite unfortunate that they didn't start well this season, but you can't take anything away from them. Winning 5 straight in their last 5 games is a plus.
It shows the team that is ready.
They are ready for the team.
And then you can't still take away City. City have won 4 out of their last 5. And,
but 3
just 1 draw. The last time City lost a game is as far back as against Brighton 2-1. The one that Zoro was talking about, how Brighton is good at beating teams. That is as far back as August.
Yes.
On the 31st of August.
Yes.
Now, if a team like Pep Guardiola's team losing just the last time on the 31st of August, I think they are beginning to make some statements. It was back-to-back losses that woke them up. I mean, they lost to Spurs and lost to Brighton. But ever since then, they've picked up. And I feel like this is a game that they want to continue that trajectory.
But again, they want to continue. But history has it that in their last 3 encounters between these 2 teams, at home, that at Villa Park, City has not been able to get a win. In their last 3, when as their last 3 visits to this Villa Park, they've not been able to get a win.
Yeah,
so that's
Aston Villa winning 1-0 in 2023 and the 2-1 in 2024.
Yes, and a draw.
Yeah, followed up for a draw in 2022. Amazing.
Yeah, so that's to tell you that Villa has something working for them at Villa Park. Back then at Villa Park, they have this record that they don't want to lose to. So City may find it somehow. And if you watch City playing in their Champions League game, they scored 2 goals in the first half. In second half, they were not able to get a goal again. That's something to tell you that it is either if you score first and keep City down, then you have a win there. So I think Villa want to capitalize on that City is not that fantastic when it comes to goal scoring.
Well, Haaland is scoring.
Haaland
and I think in the form that Erling Haaland is in right now,
yeah,
he can
scoring.
crush anything.
If you mark out Haaland out of the game,
how will you do that?
In second half, they did it against in that match.
But he got his goal.
He got the goal in first half. In the second half, they were able to capitalize that this is the threat, and they made away the threat. And once you make away the threat, City is no has no other team to give you any goal. So I think the Villa side should maintain that position and say, okay, this is the man we have to go for. Go for this man, we get our point. Either they share the points or they get the points.
Okay, that's your opinion. Let's see what
Sharing the point and or getting the points is a very very big one because Aston Villa, has shown since last season what they are capable of. Aston Villa hardly was beaten at home last season, and then here came Aston Villa again. Talking about their chats with Manchester City, their head-to-heads with Manchester City. They've always had the lead whenever they are home. He played. This was Aston Villa that they played the Champions League at some point last season, and then each of their matches at home were mostly victory. You understand? And they had this way of holding, just like you said, there's something at home that keeps them. They could be able to, do anything outside, but at home, he's always there. At a point, I feel I miss Rashford as a member of that particular team because he played a very big role, which is doing with Barcelona at the moment. But then, away from Aston Villa and then what they could be able to do, we still have Manchester City with Alan, who has equally been a goal scoring machine, more like I would equate him to our countryman Osimhen, who has equally done, although he's drifting away from that, but then who has equally done similar. Now let's talk about Erling Haaland. If what you say happens to Haaland, then that means Aston Villa has the game to themselves on Sunday. Why? Because everything in Manchester City right now is channeled towards Haaland. So once he cannot get those matches, those passes across to him, then you've crippled the entire team because their conversion rates right now relies solely on Haaland, and then I feel like it's a problem because he does not give so much of that assist. I'm talking from what I've observed from his own play. He does not give so much of that. He's not an everywhere striker that is on the wings, on the forefront, a bit of the middle, and just everywhere. He's solely about give me that particular pass from the long, from the middle or from the wings, and then I could be able to deliver. Once you be able to block those things from coming his way, then I think Manchester City is crippled to a very large extent, of which is going to be difficult because he has long legs and then he's fast with the ball. But then once you could be able to achieve that, have those people who could be able to hold him at that particular defense, just hold him, close marking. Aston Villa is home.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Villa up against Manchester City is the last game. Thank you very much for being a huge part of this one. I think today I'll let you guys go with the predictions, or you want to predict anyone?
I think for me, Arsenal.
I knew you wanted
I especially okay now. What do you think will be the outcome of Arsenal's game?
Against that, because Arsenal is a team that has proven to this season. They've proven to say yes, we want to take all the cup.
Okay.
Take all the cups. Yeah, all the cup. Thank you for that.
So what's your prediction for Arsenal? Arsenal's game
Straight through.
straight in for Arsenal. The prediction for Chelsea's out in
Chelsea is going to concede, but Chelsea is going to win.
Okay, Chelsea will ship one in, and of course will be able to win that one. Well, we'll have enough time, maybe next week, to put lots and lots of concentration on Arsenal.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jesse. It's a bit about this one.
Arsenal is a wonderful
Yeah,
team. Presently now,
congratulations in advance for Arsenal quadruple.
Yeah.
Which can comprise of Community Shield, FA Cup, and
the Champions League.
which Champions League.
And the
And the Premier.
all this, see what happens. My name is RG of LW, urging you to keep sharing and be a part of what we do at the World Community. Don't forget that the program is proudly sponsored by our friends at MaxBet. Adios.